Hey, what's up, man? What's happening? Today we're gonna be showing you how to create some custom buildings in Unreal Engine 5. Thank y'all for tapping in with me. I'm doing this live, so bear with me, but I'm gonna try to make it short and simple, as sweet as possible. Pretty much all we're gonna be doing is using some shapes. We're gonna be using this cube to pretty much make a building, added some textures to it, and yeah, one thing you're gonna probably need is this modular house pack. It's free on the Epic Marketplace. You can download it, add it to your project. That's just for like the windows and stuff like that, just to make life easier for you. They got like textures, like siding, and all kind of things that you might possibly need for your project. Another thing you're probably gonna need is, let me go back to my library. Um, I'm not gonna be like doing too much of a tutorial on this, but just so that y'all know, there is a free furniture pack uh, on the Epic Marketplace too. You can use that furniture pack to, get some furniture up inside your house or your building once you create it. All right, so cool. I'm not gonna hold y'all up. Let's get right into it. First thing you're gonna want to do, put a little mannequin down. That way you can use it to scale like your doorways, and just make sure you're not making stuff the correct size. And second thing, if you don't got Quixel Bridge installed, all you got to do is go to your content drawer down here in the left, go to add, click the little plus sign, and then add Quixel content. Or you know what? If you don't got it, then you're not gonna see that. You're gonna have to install the plugin. So you go to your plugin, you type in bridge, and you hit that check mark. It's gonna ask you to restart your project. Go ahead and restart, and catch right back up. But first thing you want to do is get your little mannequin out there. For most of you guys, you just type in SKM, or just type in Manny. It should pop up if you search through your content or whatever your main character. Any character doesn't matter. Get a character out there so you can judge it for size. Second thing you're gonna need is, you don't got to get it now, but to save time, you're probably going to want to search some textures. You're going to want to know what you're trying to model off of. Me, I want to model off of this apartment building. So this is what I'm going to be building in the tutorial. And, I've already got a little textures in my library for these things, but I can show you guys how to get them, no sweat. Look, give me 1 second. Let me just open up my live and see if anybody's commenting. I gotta get stuff for GTA 2. It's a bet. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Well, yes and no. Well, it depends. If you got UE5 and you know how to like export it to a FBX file, I'm not sure what GTA, what kind of files they use for GTA, like the MLOs. But I'm pretty sure, bro, between this and Blender, if you can export this to Blender and somehow get whatever file type you need from Blender, this will most likely work. Cause to be honest, I thought about making MLOs and stuff for 5M as well. I thought about it, man. It definitely crossed my mind. Cause it's really not that hard with this method. So really, all I'm doing, right? I'll go up here, and I just grab a shape. If you go down to shapes, and right here, this cube, I got the cube, clicked on the cube. Now we have it, and if you push R, you can scale it. So I'm going to scale it down from this top one, and then if I hit the end key, it'll just snap to the ground. Now I can go ahead and make it. This is going to be our floor, basically, our floor and our ceiling. So we got a character right there. Depending on how large you want your building to be, you can just make your floor whatever size, depending on how large you want your building to be. I don't think this building is going to be too big, so that seems pretty decent compared to my human, or compared to my mannequin. That seems pretty decent, not too crazy. So if you hit W, it'll change this to this arrow key and hold Alt. And if you hold Alt and drag that arrow, it'll just basically duplicate. Hopefully you got a little basic knowledge. I'm really not doing a tutorial on how to use UE5. Hopefully you know a little bit of something about how to use it. But if you hold Control and click, you can select, or Shift and click, either one. Shift and click or Control and click, you can select both objects. I'm gonna just move it away from this guy a little bit so it's not right up on him. And you know, kind of just scale it out. How high do you want your ceiling to be? And I feel like that's not bad, you know, compared to this. It looks like it's like 2 doorways. So it's pretty much 2 minis. Looks about good. I could deal with that. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna just duplicate this plane one more time. Rotate it. Let's see. I like furniture. I like the furniture and stuff. I need something low, no cap. Yep. Plenty. I'm not sure, man. I'll look into it to see if you can use this for 5M, cause I know a lot of y'all probably want to know how people create them 5M MLOs. I'm pretty sure they use Blender, but if there's a way, I know that you could just export this FBX and upload it in Blender. So Blender, I feel like, is a little more technical for real detail, you know. This is gonna be pretty much a nice little shell, but you can actually get technical just depending on how much time and detail you want to put into it. So all I did right here was just duplicate the top and resize it to be the back. I'm gonna go ahead and hold Alt, drag off the arrow to duplicate it one more time. This one I'm not gonna put in place yet. I'm gonna just leave that for right now because we're gonna need that to make the front. So we're not gonna need that piece just yet, but we can duplicate it. Duplicate it one more time. We're gonna make the sides. So let's just get the sides in place. This is gonna be our inside. There's 2 ways you can actually do this. The cleaner way would be to duplicate all of these walls. I'll show you in a second once we get all the walls put down. Only because if you apply a texture to this, it's going to appear on both sides unless you go into the texture settings. I don't want to get super technical. I'm trying to make this easy peasy tutorial. I don't want to make it complicated. Duplicate that. Just so y'all know how I'm duplicating it, I'm holding Alt, click on the arrow. You can click on any arrow, any direction, and just hold Alt, click on it, and drag it. Now we got pretty much our shell. So if you want to make it inside, you know, this is gonna be your shell right here. What you can actually do to make life super easy is go ahead and start putting down your textures. So that's why I kind of wanted you guys, if you want, even like if you're watching this live or if you're watching this after it lived today and it's not today anymore and it's not live anymore, you kind of want to pause the video and go ahead and find your textures right now and find out what you want to do with the inside. To be honest, I know I got like a wood floor texture. I'm gonna just throw the wood floor down. It might not look that good. I can show you guys a few tips and tricks on how I do my textures as well. Look, I got a wood floor. It actually does look pretty decent, probably because I used it before. But how I do my textures is you can go ahead and screenshot this or pause the vid, take a look at this. Pretty much when you open up a texture, it's automatically going to give you this node right here on the right side. All I did was add this text coordinates node. If you type in let's see, texture coordinate, that's the node right there. And then any sample that you download from from Quixel. So this is my samples, my surfaces folder. Here's that wooden floor. And so how I did this was I get all three of these, drag them on here, and then put this one at the top. So you put the UV at the bottom, the one that's not the UV in the middle, and then you put the one that's the actual texture that looks like the picture that you downloaded. You put that one at the top, and then you drag texture coordinates into the UVs, and then you would drag these into base color, roughness, and normal. So if you want to go ahead and just screenshot this, or take a little picture or whatever, so you got that. But the one thing I do it like this is because with this texture coordinates node, you can change the tiling, the X and the Y basically, and to make it fit, So if this was like too ugly, it's too wide, too thin, or whatever, too much, you could change it up so that way it actually fits the texture that you're applying it to. So I'm gonna just leave the walls white. We got our floor. We'll just leave the ceiling for what it is. Not a big deal. I'm not trying to get super pretty. We just showing you how to go ahead and make a custom building. So now that we got these, if you feel comfortable with your textures, you can actually select all of these, all 4 walls, and go to tools. You go to merge actors, and you can merge them if you want to. You don't have to. It just makes life easier because later on, if you want to resize it or whatever, whoop whoop. I typically don't until I get everything completed, and we're not done yet. I'm gonna just show you how we go ahead and finish this off. So I drag this in the air because we're gonna poly cut it. We don't want to cut anything else, so I like to just put it in the air. It's kind of like the fun part to me. It's like we working in the sky, dog. You know what I'm saying? But right here we're gonna go to modeling mode. If you don't have modeling mode, that's another plugin you're gonna want to install. You just go to plugins, type in modeling, and then right here I believe modeling tools editor mode. You install that, take that check, and restart your program. Catch back on that. I'm gonna actually pause real quick and give you a second to get caught up, let everything load. So now that you caught back up, we got our front side in the air. It's not gonna allow us to poly cut it off rip. We actually have to turn this because it's a default item. I don't know why it doesn't let us. So we're gonna turn this into a new item by just duplicating that first piece, moving the second piece right up close to it. It doesn't really matter as long as they're not separated. It doesn't really matter how it looks. I wouldn't let them touch too much. Just move it close as you can. Not a real big deal. And then we're gonna merge it. And so I hit replace actors right here, so that way it replaces the actual items. And go ahead, find your folder that you want to save it to. I'll just save it right here and call it building front. Just you call it whatever you want to call it. It just sounds good to me. Front side of the building front. Cool. So now if we hit model, now that we got our modeling mode, we can go ahead on the left side, hit model right here, and then hit poly cut. Now this is going to allow us to cut out our doorways and our windows. So we want to rotate it so that way the grid is facing the object. Right here in the drop down, we can select square, rectangle. I'm going to select rectangle, just find it easier. Now we got our rectangle. We can go ahead and adjust the height and the width to the size of our doorway. And so like I said before, this is why we got our little example character. You know what, let's just go back to selection mode real fast, grab our character and use them for reference. Cool. So now we got our character for reference. We know how big our doorway should probably be, or at least what relative size. And, you know, you can take as much time and get as detailed as you want to. Up to you. I'm just trying to show y'all a quick and easy way, man. So now we got our poly cut. Dang it. So now look, right, my poly cut ain't really cutting right, and it's because I gotta go back to selection mode, select the item first, then go back to poly cut, and it should cut. Alright, it's not cutting. So let's find out why. Oh, okay. You know what? I should have deleted those because that's the original item. And then we're gonna put build in front. So if you open your control space, will open your content browser, and the item that we just merged, build in front, should already be selected. If not, just go to your content and search the name of whatever you just created. If it was build in front, just search build in front. Just pull that item out, because like I said, it won't let you poly cut the original item, the original cube that this really is. Really just the original, really just a cube, and we deformed it. So make sure you have build in front on your screen and not the original cube. Go back to modeling, go to poly cut, and then we should, yep, there it goes. We should be able to poly cut it now. Alright, so now these little things on the inside, this is how you move it: right and left, forward, backward, up and down. You know, I'm gonna just go ahead and size this. My guy isn't perfect, so I'm gonna overshoot it just a little bit and make it a little taller than it probably needs to be, just to be safe. Let's bring over the width a little bit, just to be safe. And you know, that's why so like that's why we're gonna save this as a separate piece. We're gonna have, when it comes to merging it, you're gonna want to save the front side and separate from the base, because just in case you don't like the way it's poly cut, you can always just go grab another cube, size it out again, and re-poly cut it to the correct size. So just make sure you keep the base and the front piece separate. So let's go ahead and just hit accept. So once you hit accept, it'll do the cut. I'm gonna go ahead and look at my reference again. Not gonna lie, I might have to make this 2 stories. I should have paid more. I'm worried more about talking to y'all than actually getting the geometry right. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to double this up, because if we look at the pic, I only got 1 story basically. So if I just double that up, then I could do this. So look, let me show y'all. Just move this away, grab the cube we created, the base. Long as everything is selected, I use control and click on every item to select every single item. Then hold Alt, duplicate it, and boom. I could just set it right on top of the other one. And nobody's gonna see this part because it's gonna be covered up. But if you want to get it sitting perfect, you know, feel free. If I hit Control Z, it's gonna basically reselect everything, and then I could basically just try it again if I want to really make sure it's perfect. But I'm happy with that. It's not a big deal. It's just a tutorial. So I'll take this back piece, slide it, duplicate this back piece. This will be my upper front. So I'll just put this to the side until we're ready to work with that. But pretty much we're just gonna poly cut this until it looks like what we want it to look like. So we got our doorway. Now we need like a couple windows. So it looks like they got 1 window, 2 window, 3 windows. Probably another window over there, but you know. Is it that serious for the tutorial? No, it's not. Because you guys probably not gonna be doing the same building I'm doing, you know. Pretty much it's always gonna be the same concept. You get your building and then you leave your front and you poly cut the front. Then you just stick the front back onto the building and you pretty much got your building. You know, not that complicated. But keep it real. I had to learn this, so I feel like I should just tell somebody. Also, jeez Louise. Control Z if you ever mess up. If you ever really mess up, bro, you can always go up here to edit, undo history, and go back in time to wherever you messed up at. Or like even sometimes if you know like you mess up prone, like you mess up a lot, you can even go to undo history and where is it? It should be, I think, set undo barrier. Hit this plus sign. So like if I know I'm about to do something that I might mess up, hit this plus sign as set undo barrier. So it'll, like if you hit undo, it'll stop hitting undo. Right here, the barrier will take in wherever you. So it's like that's like your save point, kinda. Like you could just undo, and I know it's only gonna go back so far. Just a couple tips, man, cause you know, I feel like there's not too much tutorials on certain stuff. Let's reference what we got real quick. Look like a window right there, and then we got 2 more windows to go. So my windows might not be super perfect like in the picture, but you know, if you want to spend more time, you definitely can. Get as perfect as you need to, bruh. So boom, now we got our last little window right here. It's not cutting. I probably ain't got it selected. So let's go back to selection mode. Click on it. Go back to modeling. Model. Polycut. There we go. And you want to make sure that it's at a good angle, you know, 90, 80, so on and so forth, 270, 360. Make sure it's at that good 90 or 180, whatever, you know. So got our last cut. Now, before we go ahead and slap this on the building, we want to figure out what textures we're going to use. So this look like it's going to be a good brick. And then I'm actually gonna just never mind this part right here, dog. Real talk, cause I don't really feel like getting that complicated. I don't. I like right now. We could always add that as an extra piece. Like we could just create another block, another flat block, and just recreate this texture and with those windows if we wanted to. Better yet, let's not even be lazy. I'm not even gonna be lazy. Let's get complicated real quick, man. We're just gonna cut out this last little poly cut so that way we could do those windows. Let's get complicated. So rotate this the right way and turn it a little more and increase the height a little bit. Get everything to match up. That's pretty good. It's not too bad. Maybe let's just type in 151, 153. Cool. That look good, huh? Maybe 160. Yeah, 160 is better. Cool. So we got that little piece over there for that window. Wait, let's just double check. Maybe this is a little too wide. Let's do it like that. A little more accurate. A little more accurate. Alright, so we could, how can I do that piece? I could duplicate it and probably do a plane cut. Do a plane cut so I could get that one side. Cause what we need, just this window side right here. So let's just do a plane cut. Where does that window start? I guess it will start, let's say right here, for instance. Cool. That's how we do that. We got our plane cut, and now I could just, no! It cut everything. Hold on. Go back in time. Maybe we gotta lift this higher or something. Get that out the way. Oh, wait, no, wait, see, look. That's what it is. I gotta go away from this. Go away from all of this. Plane cut it like that. Yeah, that should be nice. Cool. Now, it still cut both objects. Alright, so you know what? We'll worry about that later. We'll worry about that later, Alec. You know why? Because that's actually what I'm doing. I will have to duplicate this. That's what I will have to do. Duplicate this. And just call it panel. I just figured this out. Like, I just figured that out right now. Not gonna lie. Just figured that out. So now, let's try the panel cut one more time. Plane cut. Try it one more time, man. Get this perfect to 180, 90, all that. And look at that. We good. That's all we had to do, because if we poly cut, that's why we can't poly cut the original cube, because the poly cut is actually changing like the whole natural shape of the original object. So all we had to do was duplicate it, and then we would have to just fit it, you know. But I'm not gonna fit it right now because we gotta still put our texture on this front panel. So look like we got this brick pattern. Now, if you don't got your textures yet, you can always open up Quixel Bridge. You just go to your content, add content, and add Quixel content right here. If you don't got Quixel, like I said, you just go to your plugins and then search Bridge and enable that plugin. But I got my, so we could look for, let's say, brick wall. That would be a good search term. And then you would find whichever wall, or if it was like panel, you would type side panel or wall panel maybe. But I already got my texture, so let me go ahead and open that up. Now what I want to use is this brick wall. Let's see how it looks. I don't like the way that looks, so I'm gonna just remake this to apartments. Open this texture up and then use my text chords just in case y'all need this texture again. Go ahead and screenshot this. We got base color, roughness, and normal, and then our text chords going to the UVs. All of these coming from RGB, and you got your UVs at the bottom, and got that set up like that. So I'll go to my text chords, and now, if I'm not mistaken, the higher it is, the smaller it gets. Yep. So let's hit apply and see how that looks. I don't like that. So just pull that window out real quick so I can see what I'm doing. And let's just go big with 6 and see what that changes. You know what? Let's save all. If you haven't saved all in a minute, make sure you save all. If you, just in case your project crash or anything. There we go. Make sure you apply that texture to your wall, the texture you just created. That's one step I forgot, was to actually drag that texture onto the wall. I feel like 6 a little too much. I'm gonna just try like 4.5. That look a little better. Cool with that. So pretty much from here, man, like I feel like you guys really could get the idea of what's going on. We pretty much taking the blocks, slapping on some textures, and then putting it in place. Now, as far as optimization, that's really up to you. Like, what your preference is. We really could go inside some of these textures and like lower the LEDs or LODs and really try to optimize the textures. I'm not about to go into all of that this tutorial, but if you did want to, you could actually go inside like those. You would have to go into your mega scans and your surfaces and optimize your texture however you would like. Anywho, as far as this little panel, let's just go ahead and get this out the way. Let's just get it out the way, man. Try to line it up real nice and slap it right on top. Clicking off, but it's pretty annoying. Alright, that looks like it's pretty lined up to me. Maybe move it over a little tad. Well, damn it, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. So I'm gonna just pretend that that's super duper lined up. I don't want to be like a perfectionist right at this very moment. Let's just pretend that that is absolutely perfect and we're super satisfied. Go to our reference. They got some panel going up and down. That would be, all right. So I'm not gonna lie, never gonna lie. Y'all probably gonna hate me. I should have told you to put the texture on before you polycut, cause the texture might not always apply right. So you want to get your texture on your front panel before you. We're gonna do that with this one. Get the texture on the front panel before we even polycut it, cause then you might be stuck with a texture going a wrong direction or something like that. Anywho, so let me go to my textures, my personals, and find one for the wood that I know I have. And I'm gonna just go ahead and duplicate it. And call it apartments. No, that color look like it's a little kind of like a turquoise, gray or blue, you know, kind of, you know, up in there. So I don't know. We're gonna just try to get as close as we could. Like I said, I'm not trying to get it super duper perfect, y'all. It's just slight replication. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm not even gonna care right now. Make sure you save all frequently, just in case your project crash. Just quick word of advice, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and slap that on there. Like I said, that doesn't really look that good. It doesn't. And how I'm doing this with this colors, I should probably show y'all this. Pretty much the same thing. Only thing is, to this first node, we're adding this sequence, which is kind of complicated to explain. I got this from a tutorial, but if I'm not mistaken, you hold 3, you left click, it'll pull up the coordinate node. You hold 1, left click, it'll pull up the value node. You want to set that value node to 1, and then if you hold M and left click, it'll pull up that multiply. And all you're gonna want to do is drag the value to A, or drag the big one to A, the little one to B, and then what we got up here? We got blend overlay. So you drag this to a blend overlay, and then if I'm not mistaken, it should be the top one. Yep, the top one. So to be honest, like for the wood, I got this going in the top and as the top, and then the bottom one, the blend, going to my texture, my actual texture sample up there. So go ahead, screenshot this real quick. I know it's a little sloppy and ugly. I apologize for this. I really didn't plan on doing this tutorial today. It was very spontaneous and spur of the moment chat, but you know, we here, man. We here. So once you get your color on point, you know, you just go ahead and slap it on. I really don't like that color, but I guess we're gonna have to deal with it. Guess we're gonna have to deal with it for now. Cool. It is what it is, man. We just doing this as a tutorial. So anywho, up here, you know, we got our top piece. We will poly cut it. I showed y'all how to poly cut already. I'm not sure if I should really probably walk back through it, but we'll go through it one more time. It's probably not gonna let me probably cut this because it's a single, so we're gonna go back to our selection mode and just duplicate it, move that second piece close to the first piece, and select both of them, merge them. Make sure you got both of them selected. You go to tools, hit the merge button, look for merge, and then find somewhere to save it. I forget where I saved the last piece, but yeah. Apartment front. And when you're merging these things, man, just keep in mind that you're gonna want to keep the front separate from like your base square or whatever you want to call it, your base building. So now that we merged it, I'm gonna go ahead and delete the originals and drag out the merged, the one I just merged, those two that I just merged just now. I'm gonna delete the originals and drag out the merged one, so that way we could poly cut it. So we'll go to modeling, model, poly cut. That is the brethren. You are back.
Yeah.
What's up?
Man, my dog broke my phone.
Broke your phone?
Tight.
Oh my God.
I got a whole new phone.
Crazy. How you break? You dropped it in the street?
Right, that's it.
Damn.
Jumping out the Uber.
Damn. Damn, I done did that though. Can't even be mad. I done did that too.
Fuck you, dog. I ain't no phone anyway. Daddy house in a minute. I need a couple. She got another phone over. I got another phone at the house though. I just gotta switch my little shit. Next week I'm just gonna get me a fucking iPhone.
Yeah. Alright, so we're just gonna wrap this up real quick. All we gotta do is our poly cuts and hit these windows out.
Live?
Yup. Wrapping up this little tutorial on how to create custom buildings.
Shit sweet as a bitch.
My windows might not be super duper on point. Now, one thing, the reason why I move it up is because we do the poly cut with Boolean. If you uncheck this, pretty much it'll cut through almost everything. So that's why I move it in the sky. But if you uncheck this, it's only gonna cut through that first layer. But to just be safe, because sometimes it'll cut through the first layer, but then you look on the other side and it's not actually cut. So I just do cut with Boolean. So now we could go ahead and slap our little texture on the front side of this. Which one was it? Apartment. And go ahead and throw this in place. And now, boom.
Shit is disgusting.
Oh, you know what? I forgot about this window over here. So, not to sweat it though. I mean, y'all get the vibes. I could easily just cut that window and duplicate that, and then now I will have the completeness. So, you know what? Let me just cut that window. I'm not gonna be a cheapskate.
You use this shit with them?
Yeah. So, damn, did it cut? No, because I was clicking on the wrong thing. There we go. It's cutting now. Alright, let's make sure it's not cutting through nothing else. Probably could move it up a tiny bit. Go ahead and apply. And now boom. Boom, I got our little side panels. Now all we would need to do would be to throw in the windows and the doors that we would get from our marketplace. From this modular house pack right here, which is free, and you can just add it to your project. You can choose which windows you want. If you know, like I said, if you need different textures, you can use those textures, and if you want to adjust the color on the textures, then you could just use let's do an auto save. Give me 1 sec. But the pattern that I showed y'all, this Blizzak while it's doing that. The pattern I showed y'all for this thing. I'm sorry, child. I gotta get ready to go because my brother done broke his phone, so we gotta go pay attention to that.
I broke my phone, man.
So, but yeah, here it is. This is how you apply the color change, and this is what you apply it to. But I explained this a few times. If you don't get it, just rewind the video, rewatch it, check it out, man. Hopefully this helped y'all. Thank y'all for pulling up, kicking it with me, even if you don't do UE5. I'm gonna tap back in with y'all on the next time. Thank y'all. I'ma holla. Peace.